I never imagined that the department responsible for fairness, protection, and integrity could become the very source of my worst experience at work. Growing up, I believed HR represented safety, neutrality, and balance, a place you could go when everything else fell apart. But now I know that sometimes HR doesn't protect the truth. Sometimes it protects the people who know how to manipulate it. My story began 8 months ago, during a period of chaos in our company. Departments were merging, managers were shifting, and everyone was trying to look competent enough to survive the restructuring. I worked in finance, quietly, efficiently, never drawing attention. I wasn't loud, I didn't complain, and I rarely made mistakes. In short, I was invisible. At least, that's what I thought. The first sign that something was wrong came in the form of a simple meeting request. Please report to HR at 3 p.m. No context, no explanation. My stomach tightened when I read it. HR meetings never felt neutral, no matter how many times they said they were routine. At 3 p.m. sharp, I entered the HR office. The room felt colder than usual. 2 HR representatives, Melissa and Jordan, sat across from me with expressions so serious it made my chest tighten. There was no greeting, no small talk. "Please sit," Melissa said. The moment I sat down, she slid a printed email thread toward me. "We received a concern raised by a manager regarding your recent communication." I frowned. "Communication about what?" She pointed at the email. My name was in the signature, but the words weren't mine. The email looked like a reply to a manager in another department. It was curt, almost rude, questioning deadlines and undermining decisions. It didn't sound like me at all. My tone was always professional, careful, measured. "I didn't write this," I said immediately. Jordan leaned forward. "It came from your account." My mind spun. "I'm telling you, I didn't write that." Melissa folded her hands. "This isn't the first concerning report. There have been multiple incidents of miscommunication, missed deadlines, and failure to follow instructions." I felt heat rising in my face. "What missed deadlines? What incidents? No one told me anything." Jordan exchanged a look with Melissa. "Your manager documented them." Something cracked inside me. My manager, Elena, had always been kind, calm, supportive, or so I thought. "I'd like to see those reports," I said. "We'll provide what's relevant," Melissa replied, avoiding my eyes. Something was wrong. Deeply wrong. Over the next week, things got worse. I was suddenly excluded from meetings. My tasks were reassigned. People I used to talk to stopped making eye contact. One co-worker whispered, "I'm sorry," before walking away as if afraid to be seen with me. Then came the breaking point. A Friday afternoon message. "Final review meeting regarding employee conduct. Monday 9th a.m. Final review? Conduct? My hands shook as I read the words. I felt like the ground was dissolving beneath me. That night I stayed late to finish some reconciliations. The office was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes every sound echo. While organizing files, I received a forwarded message by accident, an internal chain I was never meant to see. Subject: Incident Documentation. Confidential. It was from HR, and attached were files with my name, dozens of them. False reports, altered timelines, exaggerated issues, and one email that chilled my blood. Prepare the termination packet pending Monday review. Termination. They were trying to fire me. My breath came fast and uneven. Someone was framing me. Someone in HR, or someone working with them. I clicked deeper into the chain. That's when I found the message that exposed everything. Make sure these versions replace the originals before Monday. I'll handle the meeting. The sender was Elena, my own manager. She wasn't documenting my mistakes. She was creating them. My hands trembled as I scrolled. I found messages of her blaming me for file delays she caused. Messages where she exaggerated minor issues into performance risks. Messages where she asked HR to support the narrative so the restructuring would go through cleanly. I swallowed hard. My voice cracked into the empty office. She's firing me to protect herself. But then I found the most damning piece of all. A file attachment with metadata that didn't match the date it was supposedly created. The timestamp showed it had been edited late at night from a shared HR workstation. Why would HR be editing my supposed incidents? Because they were helping her. Because they were in on it. My heart pounded so loudly I couldn't hear anything else. I copied the entire email chain, exported the attachments, saved everything on a secure drive. If I didn't, it would all disappear by morning. Then I remembered something important. The shared HR workstation had cameras directly above it. Every workstation did, but most people forgot that. I rushed to the security office. Miguel, the night guard, gave me a surprised look. "Working late?" "I need help," I whispered. He listened as I explained everything. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, he nodded slowly and pulled up the cameras. "Let's see what happened." We rewound footage from the previous night. There she was, Elena, my manager, entering HR with a folder in her hand, looking over her shoulder, sitting at the workstation, editing documents, replacing files, copying something onto a flash drive. Then HR rep Jordan entered. They talked quietly. He nodded like he already knew what she was doing. My breath caught. "They're working together." Miguel zoomed in on the footage, enhancing it enough that her face was visible. Jordan's too. Then Miguel pulled the login records for the workstation. Only HR has access, but Elena had used Jordan's badge to enter. That was it. That was the proof. The truth wasn't just in the emails. It was on camera. I went home at almost 3 a.m., exhausted, terrified, and holding a drive that could destroy both of their careers. But it was also the only thing that could save mine. Monday morning came like a storm. I walked into the HR meeting with my head high, even though my legs were trembling. Elena sat with a practiced, sympathetic expression. Jordan looked at me like I was already gone. Melissa began, "This meeting concerns a pattern of behaviors." "Stop," I said calmly. I placed the drive on the table. "You need to watch what's on this." For a moment, no one moved. Then Jordan reached for it. I stopped him. "No, Melissa should open it." She hesitated, sensing something was wrong. When she finally inserted the drive, the room fell silent. First, the email chain. Then the metadata inconsistencies. Then the footage. The moment Elena appeared on screen tampering with documents, Melissa's face drained of color. Jordan tried to speak, but she cut him off sharply. "Don't say a word." Elena's facade cracked. She stuttered something about misunderstandings, but no one heard her. The truth was too loud. By noon, Elena's badge was deactivated. Jordan was placed on leave pending investigation. HR sent me an apology email so formal it barely felt human, but I didn't care. I wasn't invisible anymore. I was finally seen. And for once, being seen saved me. People say HR protects employees, but I learned something different. They protect whoever they think has power, unless the evidence says otherwise. And I made sure it did. because the truth doesn't need permission to surface. It only needs proof. And I had all of it.